Hey, what's up, everybody?
Ahoy.
Got Edmund with us. All right, yeah, the intro was a bit messed up, but it seems like we have full internet again now. I have no idea why that happens, as I never have. Uh, so yeah, it's got Nate the Great in here, Dimitri, Pudgy. I need to put this somewhere where I could reach it. Yeah, I don't know why the internet was dropping out. Like I've said before, it makes no sense. It's hardwired down here. So, what's up, Bradley? How's it going? Mushroom Hill. So, Brendan, what's up? So, yeah, we're gonna. Oh, we got Dave's on screen.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, don't do anything weird.
Oh, we got the matching cap and bandana there.
Oh yeah, that's.
Didn't realize that.
I hadn't worn mine for a while, but it's full. So
Yeah, I haven't worn this in a long time.
I actually wore mine. Well, this. I guess this angle with Dave is better because this one just got like a big. When you're looking down, the mic's like directly in front of your face. Yeah, you know that cap? We got that at the first Nutmeg we did, right?
It must have been.
Yeah.
Because Novak actually, he's like, oh, Ronnie sent you your cap? Like, no.
Oh, yeah, it's too.
He's like, I'm calling him Rip Off Ronnie from now on.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, they've given caps and bandanas. One year, Cap and a Musette at every Nutmeg, and this year um, they didn't come in time. They were hoping they would actually come the day of Nutmeg, but they didn't. So let me turn this volume up a little bit. Yeah, let me know if it's loud enough. Now it looks like it's almost peaking, so it should be good. I know you guys say it's always quiet, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I wore this one a ton because that winter when it went back to pandemic, I would use it over my mask. And it was like, yeah, like the color. And so I hated those. I hated the way the masks looked, so I'd wear my bandana over the masks. Anyways, or when I'd go in to buy beer somewhere and I'd be real nervous. But so yeah, we got Ben. You guys have met Ben on the stream before, unless you're real new here, but you've seen him in plenty of the videos. So after Nutmeg Nor'Easter, um, which was 2 nights of camping, 3 days of riding if you wanted to ride every day, main ride on Saturday, Ben decided he was going to ride home and solo, fully loaded on his Gorilla Monsoon, four lead panniers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basket bag and panniers, front and back.
Did you weigh that bike?
No, I meant to do that before I took everything off, but it was definitely probably the heaviest that I've had it loaded up with all that stuff.
Yeah, it had to be. But Monsoon's probably good for that. But you also did you end up looking into your total climbing? I know when you were planning it, what did you end up actually climbing on the way back?
Yeah, I added it all up, and the mileage was just over 800.
Oh,
I did include the riding at Nutmeg, so not like the Delaware or any of that, but the big ride at Nutmeg. It just over 800 miles and then 44,000 feet of elevation,
oh, jeez. 44,000 feet.
and that was over 10 days. So
Oh, because you did one more day than you had planned. You stayed at your parents on your way back into
yeah,
town.
it was going right through there anyways, and I'm like, it's still 30 miles to get to Akron. Gonna spend one more night. But,
Did they know you were doing this when you showed up?
not when I started, but like I think 2 days into it, my mom had texted me, asked if I was riding. I'm like, yeah, I'm riding.
I'm somewhere in the middle of
Yeah.
Pennsylvania solo.
She wasn't very happy about that, but
Yeah.
But as soon as I told them, and I would give them updates every night, like where I was staying and then where I was planning on staying that night. So
Yeah. That's so funny because, like, well, one, my mom, my dad doesn't use social media, but my mom at least follows my Instagram, so she always kind of knows what I'm up to. But I still called her when I got home, like, oh, made it home safe, like, or texted, anyways.
yeah,
Which is,
they both follow me on Instagram, but I don't. I have them like they can't see my stories,
uh,
uh, and I haven't didn't do any like hard posts or whatever.
yeah.
So they didn't know until a couple days in. But
Oh, is that who Pudgy gave his ticket to? Sarah?
oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, forgot about that. No one calls her that, though. That's why it threw
Whoa,
me off.
whoa.
Whoa, yeah. So, might actually see her this weekend. She might go mountain biking with Aaron. My back's bad, so I don't think I'll be able to. But, well, now it looks like 91% rain on Sunday, the day they would do it. But, anyways. So, yeah, we stuck around for the Scorcher race on Nutmeg, which is the single speed race. And you were saying how that was kind of a bad idea.
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence. I wanted to see it. I knew I did, but I knew that I kind of should have been on the road. But I ended up staying and watching it, and I didn't quite make it as far as I was planning on the first day. So I think it was probably about 12:30 in the afternoon when I finally ended up leaving. And I had I think it was about 80 to 85 miles planned for the day. So, yeah, actually, if you're on the Strava there, I was planning on getting right up by Danbury, which wasn't too much further. It was like another 12 miles, but I kind of got stuck in the dark and my light wasn't fully charged, and it had been on red for like a good 40 minutes. So I was like debating on, do I stop and charge this thing for a while till I get to my like planned camp spot, or like just try to figure out something else. And like as I was doing that night, it's actually on a separate Strava because I had accidentally stopped it. But
I was looking real quick before I left this one at the end of your day is climbing this mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, like, I was like, as I was figuring out that my light was about to die and like trying to figure that all out, I was coming down like that last mountain there, and I realized that I had missed my turn. So luckily, I didn't go to the bottom of it, but I was like already kind of like not freaking out, but was like a little bit worried, uh, you know. And then that happened. It's like, oh, that figures. But it ended up working out perfect. I turned around, hit my turn, which was like probably less than half a mile that I had to backtrack. And as I was like thinking about stopping to like figure everything out, I go past it's like a state park that I think was only open in the summertime. It was like a swimming beach.
Yeah.
So I dip in there, kind of scope it out, and there was a big gate across the road, the entrance, and it said that they didn't open the gate. It closed at a certain time, and they unlocked it at 5 in the morning. So I figured, even if they did unlock it like this time of year, I could be up before 5 and out of there. So I just set up my tent there, and actually probably the best sleep that I got in the tent was that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I forgot Strava doesn't do back to where you were. It always goes back to the. Drives me crazy. I usually try to remember to do it in two.
A new tab or whatever.
Yeah, so you don't do that.
So yeah, that Yeah, that would have been the second night too.
Ah, okay. So yeah, this is the second day.
Yeah,
So there was that section in between where you turned off.
yeah, it was like a mile long or some mile and a half, but yeah, it was not bad. I was surprised. I thought that section of Connecticut, so that whole first day and into that little bit of the second day there, you can see was all in Connecticut, and I thought it would be a little more scenic, like around the Nutmeg area, but it was probably an hour riding, if that, and it was kind of just out on like not the best roads, not the worst, but uh, yeah, I just had it in my mind it was going to be a little more scenic, and it wasn't too great.
Yeah, I was saying, me and Dylan had the same thing riding to New London. I think we were just taking more of a direct route, and it just was less country-ish, and I wanted different roads than we rode at Nutmeg, and I felt the same thing. It wasn't horrible. There were some cool views, but like we did that tour of Connecticut where we just had beautiful roads for what 2.5 days until we were closer towards the end. So
Yeah,
Dimitri said, is wild camping legal there? It's not, I don't think, anywhere in
I don't
PA,
think.
but like you were saying, sometimes you're so out there that no one would
Yeah,
even.
Pennsylvania, I'm not quite sure, and I meant to look, but they have all the game lands,
Yeah.
uh, which I think most any other time of year I would have been like a little more open to trying to sneak into some of those in camping, but it just so happened to be hunting, like deer hunting season, and there were a
Uh,
lot of people out there like hunting, and I don't know any of the rules out there either, so
yeah, if Rock Eastwood pops in tonight, he'll know because he just made a video about hunting on the game lands, but I don't think he was talking about the actual rules of it, but I know that's what he does. So there's, um, I don't, I mean, you can multi-day Strava just by pausing it and letting it go. That's not what Ben was doing here. He was starting a new one every ride. But
yeah.
I mean, if you just don't stop your ride, I'm sure you could
Yeah, I
keep going
think
for.
people like
I
even
never
like
do
if
that.
they stop to camp, they'll just plug in their Wahoo so it doesn't die or
Yeah.
whatever computer, phone.
When I
Uh,
go to sleep, I consider it the ride's over. So
yeah, if I'm stopping for like more than like a little break or lunch or food or whatever,
yeah, you were saying
usually.
you were saying that. Hey, claws, bud. I, you were saying that you started to feel sick at some point. What?
Oh yeah, it was pretty early on in the whole trip was so day two I woke up at 4, was on the road at like by 4:45 I think,
God damn.
uh, and it was pretty cold that
Oh yeah, this
morning.
says 4:36 for starting your ride.
Yeah, and that temperature I don't know if it's is that the temperature like when I started or the average, but I don't know. It was definitely cold, and I didn't have the sunrise for like another like 4 hours or whatever, you know. So I was riding along and uh, didn't have like all my gear on, so my fingers got pretty cold and my toes, and like I didn't really notice it from there, but the next day my throat started feeling pretty sore, and I could feel like getting pretty congested, and then my nose was running pretty bad. So yeah, pretty early on in the trip, from that first night of stealth camping, and then the second night that I stealth camped, I got like maybe 20 minutes of sleep and
Ugh.
doing all that riding, and uh, yeah, it definitely wasn't great. I think I did like 6,000 some feet of climbing,
Ugh.
and then that night so day two, I actually made the call to book a motel that was like along the route.
This is This ride,
Yeah, the end of this ride, I
105 miles. This day wasn't. Hey, it's still 3,000 feet, but over 105, not too crazy.
yeah,
What? How did the profile break down?
yeah, it was
Oh,
kind
so
of
you had
just,
kind of one big climb here and then a climb at the end again, kind of.
yeah. Uh, that was, I remember that being, especially getting up that early. It just like by the time like noon rolled around, I was already so far, and it felt like because I never get up that early, especially to ride.
Yeah.
Uh, so it just felt like I was making a lot of progress, even though I was probably going like 10 miles per hour. Uh, but yeah, I had planned on this day to stealth camp. Actually, where this ends is a big park,
Oh
Shannon
yeah.
Park, yeah. And it would have been the perfect spot, but I rolled up there at like maybe 3 o'clock p.m. and
You
there's all
already had
these people
105
walking
miles
around.
in at
Yeah,
3 o'clock.
all these people walking around, and I'm like, I don't want to sit here until everyone leaves, like that early, that or until it gets dark. That's another 3 hours at least. Uh, so it's just
Oh yeah, there is another. So there's another.
yeah,
Oh, by the way, before we go to where you ended, Did you cross that same bridge that me and you rode when we were
yeah,
out in the
the
Hudson Valley?
pedestrian. Yep,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an old train bridge.
yeah, yeah. That was cool. There
It's
was
a
a
yeah.
the bike path that I picked up earlier in the day.
What's wrong with it?
Actually went all the way out there, which was cool. But that was
Oh,
really
along
like
here.
really scenic too, like just outside of Danbury. So it would have been like where planned to start.
Oh,
Yeah,
over
right
here.
there, uh, into Brewster there. But yeah, just an old rail trail, but pretty scenic. And yeah, up to Poughkeepsie, that's all on bike trail, and then across was which I think a lot of that is the Empire Trail
Yeah,
too.
going north.
Uh, even going south, uh, but yeah. So over to New Paltz, which we stayed or went there last year.
Yeah,
Right?
we went there because we kind of kept driving through that everywhere we went from Kingston, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had dinner there with. Uh, well, we didn't we go to that vegan restaurant with Dylan? Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a few. We went to that little like coffee shop and vegan chocolate place.
Yeah.
But then we hit that little like there's that little restaurant too that was like real nice.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Like I won't
Yeah. What?
say it was like a diner or something, but yeah, I don't know. But anyways, this trail I picked
The one
that
going
up.
down the. Oh, because we
Yeah,
rode this up.
Yep. The
Because we
walk.
rode over the gunks and picked up that trail. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right here.
And that trail ended up getting super wild too. Like it's kind of the valley. You can see like the gonks and mohawk
Yeah.
off like to your right as I was riding, and it was like really cool. But it turned into like this little single track, and then it would like disappear onto a road. You'd be on like a couple of roads, and then you'd pick it back up, and then it was just grass, and it was
Huh.
like really kind of very unmaintained in at least some spots. Uh, but that was really cool. On that for between the two bike paths that day, like quite a while. And then it was cool before I got into that park down by like it might be that little thing by
Tip.
yeah somewhere right around
Oh,
there.
Orange Heritage Trail.
Yeah, I was only on that for a second, but yeah, a little further down, I was riding. Oh yeah, right there, that little like dipper-looking thing. Uh, just cruising along and went by just randomly this place that said like something about like sandwiches or whatever, like food, but it did not look like it was open at all, and like it didn't even look like you could go in from the front. Uh, but then I go kind of around to the back. I'm like, you know what? I'll stop and see. Like, I need somewhere to get food. So I ended up walking in, and it was like dead quiet. I didn't see anyone in there. And then get up to the counter, and it's all these like super good looking like baked goods, croissants, like danishes, all this stuff. Uh, but it was just this one old guy behind the counter, and I didn't see a menu. It's like, is there a menu I can see? And he just kind of grumpily pointed at the wall like behind me. He had like a projector kind of set up, with, like, projecting on the wall. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so I think I ordered the first thing I saw was like an Italian sub. And he kind of got grumpy again. He's like, looking at stuff, I think seeing if he could make it or whatever. But I think I might have mistaken his grumpiness. He was this old French guy. So I don't think he spoke a lot of English.
So you didn't mistake his grumpiness either.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was kind of grumpy at first, but then he got real into it. Like, and it took probably almost half an hour for him to make this just a sub, but he like hand sliced
Oh, really?
like all of that. And there was another lady that came in who I think she had like was just coming in to pick up an order, but
it almost reminds me of the place in Ravenna. Not Ravenna. What's that one town we ride to out past there through the country?
Pastor. Oh, yeah, Manaway.
Manaway, yeah. They like make those great sandwiches, but they don't seem happy about it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, he ended up being like fine. Like as he was concocting this sandwich, it was enormous. It was wild. But he at some point too, he had on his projector, he like singled out the sandwich that I had ordered and like pulled up a photo of it and like blew it up, and he's like, "That's what you want?" Yeah. I don't know what, like he was so proud to like have a photo of that. I don't.
What would the response be if you're like, "Oh, wait a second."
But yeah, he made it up for me, like packaged it up, and then I went outside and was like didn't realize it was gonna be that big, so trying to figure out how to like pack everything because I got a couple drinks too.
Yeah.
So as I was doing that, he came out and he's like, "Oh, bicycle," and then he had like a conversation for a while there, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, get to that park later, like way earlier than I thought, and then just looking around on the map, I'm like, I think there's a motel that's not too far off my route. I might try to just make it there. It's like 12 more miles, 15 more miles, something like that. Plenty of time to do it, you know. So yeah, that was my next move from there.
Oh, wait.
It was called the High Point.
I didn't open a new tab. Now I'll be able to go back.
The High Point Motel or something like that.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realized that. So Aaron had driven, and as we were driving, we kind of drove through this area, and there was like a mountain range with like a monument, like obelisk type thing on the top of it. And Aaron was like, "I wonder what that is for." And Tim was like, "Oh, I know. It's the highest point in New Jersey." And didn't think anything of it. Had gotten this motel like booked, and I'm about halfway there, and it's fairly climby, like already at the halfway point. But I started to see that.
14-mile ride. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all uphill. I started to see that monument though up at the top, and I'm like, oh, I wish I did not know what
the highest.
I'm going to the highest place in New Jersey, basically. But yeah, it ended up being complete. Like I didn't have to go all the way up to the top that day, at least. the motel was kind of at the bottom of the state park. And I got there probably an hour before dark, maybe a little less, and slept like a baby after that.
Oh man.
Chopping again.
Yeah, we're chopping. Yeah, I know we're dropping frames. We'll see if it picks up.
I think your audio's fine.
Yeah, as long as the audio is going. So, a couple things, just a couple questions here to answer real quick before we move on. So maybe we'll see if it picks up. But a couple people who jumped in are asking what's going on. So Ben rode all the way back solo from Nutmeg. So when we were talking about stealth camping, this would just be totally on his loaded bike. Yeah, so he started riding on the coast in Connecticut, Long Island Sound, pretty much. Raymond asked, and Raymond lives in Kingston, or near Kingston. What is that? Oh, it's curious why you didn't take the Empire Trail. Would that have just added a bunch of mileage?
No, actually, that was one of my options, something that I was looking at, but we had actually talked previously about possibly doing, because we've done parts of that, about doing another section of it, like together as a group. So I didn't want to, if I didn't have to do it, and I knew we would probably do it in the future, I figured I'd save it for,
It might be the audio too.
Oh, shit.
Or it's just
We'll see if this works. Hello. I think we're back. No?
now you're back.
Oh, but it still has no data. God damn it. Podgy.
See, now it says excellent. So
It did for a second, then it crashed. So it's just not working. Let's see. What's it looking like now, Dave? Is there anything going on?
you're still choppy on the phone, but that could just be my phone too. But you're choppy.
No, Dave. Is there anything going on?
You got audio back.
Ah.
Yeah, you keep. Now you're just completely frozen again.
Yeah, I just restarted everything. Give it a second, see if we get anything working. See what the chat's on. Whoops. They'll be over here now. Just nothing. It's just not working. No idea why.
Put small marge on, we'd be fine.
This is one of those things too. It's like I don't want to do guests anymore if I can't trust that it's gonna work. It's looking all right. Nah, it's all fucked up.
Eh,
What do we do? We just call it?
yeah, might be the move if it's not gonna. Try again in like 10 or something.
Just trying to think of anything. It's like I don't have any other. We're starting the programs are the only options I have. What is this for? Why does it have like that red? Well, guys, we tried. I don't know what to say.
Just check out my Strava. You'll get the
You'll get the gist.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time I just
Fitzwater photo. Hey, I think it's working now. It is. It's fully back.
Huh. That's weird.
Well, we're back for now. If it goes down again, we're done. But yeah, we'll try. We'll try. Let me see if I can get back to where we were on your thing, because I fucked that up too. Effed that up. Oh, good. Okay, there's 2. High point. Day 3.
Yeah, I don't remember this day.
Cool.
Oh,
Cool.
this was the real climby day.
Yeah, let me get that up. All right. Anyway, so for anyone new, or for anyone who's stuck with us, we're talking about Ben's ride back from the coast in Connecticut all the way to Ohio, about 800 miles, and what'd you say,
44,000 feet of climbing.
44,000 feet of climbing. So why do we have no audio on here?
A few long days.
Got a super chat, but we can't hear it.
Back we missed you.
There we go. Caught just the tail end of that.
Nice. Yeah, so we left off right at the bottom of High Point in the motel.
Oh, yeah. So day 3 is 76 miles, 6,000 feet. Oh,
Yeah.
damn, yeah.
Ended up with my second biggest climb ever, apparently.
Are they counting this all as one climb, or are they starting here? And
I think it was from like wherever this.
that little like
is.
valley? Yeah.
There was like a solid 20-mile stretch that was just climbing. But yeah, started at that motel, ended up climbing up to that state park, the High Point. And that was right off the bat, like the first mile I was out on the road. Basically, that first turn just straight up.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like, jeez.
So that was,
Like 600-foot climb right off the rip.
yeah. But it was a nice long descent.
So it turns out you weren't at completely the high point, because you're
Yeah.
still at a higher point to
Yeah,
go
that's what
to.
I'm saying. That night, I thought I had, yeah. But
Is this the
Basic-
monument right here? Did you go right by it?
I think it was on my right. So
Just put the satellite up.
yeah, it was like somewhere up that way. But is that it? Maybe.
Oh, yeah, you could see its shadow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was, right up there by it. But yeah, it was a nice, pretty decently long climb, but the descent seemed like 3 times longer, which was nice.
So that's this? Down off the hill
Yeah.
here? Yeah. Down off the
Basically
mountain.
descended all the way down to where if we would have stayed on the Delaware Gap Trail,
Oh yeah.
I went right across that bridge there, and then into where we had coffee. Would be that little like town here with the flowers hanging from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that really good coffee shop.
I went back there, but then as soon as I was going out of town there, basically from
Then you're-
there out, it was just.
So you were
climbing.
basically down into the Delaware Gap and then out of the Delaware River Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, look at this climb. This first part of the climb.
Yeah.
So you were down in the river at like 383. Then you peaked up here at so like
Yeah.
over 1,000-foot climb.
Yeah. And over like,
Yeah,
I
not
mean
long
that
at all.
whole.
Yeah.
That whole day was just climbing the rest of the day,
But the first climb was 10 miles, 1,100 feet or something like that.
and I was super
some
worried
steep gradients too.
because
9.6.
just looking at the road, it was actually the road that we drove in on,
Yeah.
but just going the other way. But it was super busy, like a bunch of like big trucks and like just cars flying. But the whole way there was like a shoulder that was like I could have probably laid down end to end twice on it. It was
Oh,
like,
really? Was it
it was
supposed to
like
be-
at least 8 feet wide.
Was it supposed to be a bike route or?
I think it might have been.
Because there was part of Long Island that was like that when me and Dylan were riding. I had us jumping off and on it, but there was times where we'd have to go on it. But it was like 55 miles an hour, but it didn't matter because the shoulder was just like that. You could be so far away from the traffic.
Yeah, and it got to the point after like the first hour of it, I was like completely normalized to all the trucks and stuff. Actually, to the point where I was kind of enjoying it because when the bigger trucks would go by, like it was almost like a vortex. So not even a draft, but it would like suck you into this stream to the point where several days later I ended up on another similar road thinking to myself that I like screaming, "Suck me, truckers, suck me." Because anytime a truck went by, it would be like this free ride for like a few seconds.
This is the
But
kind of thing that
yelling,
happens when you're like
yeah.
5 days alone
Yeah, I
in
was
the
starting to go
wilderness.
a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Suck me, truckers. But yeah, that was actually really nice for as busy as that road was. Basically on that for quite a while, and I don't even remember.
Oh yeah. So where'd you end up?
Okay, so that was the day. Yeah, if you go back to the regular map and then zoom out a little bit and down, actually zoom out quite a bit. So this was another day, so I think right up here is where I had planned to stay. See this lake here?
Oh yeah.
If you zoom in there, there was another park there.
This Elk Lake?
Prompton,
Oh, Pontoon.
Prompton State Park.
Prompton.
There was a disc golf course that I was planning on just setting up on the edge of. But that was the same sort of deal. Like I had left not even super early that day, but I had gotten there at like around the same time, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and same deal. Like I don't
Just
want
too early to.
I don't want to hang around here, and I knew I was connecting to a bike path like later, not too much further, probably within 20 miles or so. So I decided to do that. The one thing, if you go back, so see that kind of like out?
Yeah. It was.
So right, if you zoom in, I was supposed to hit that road a little bit to the north, that White Oak.
Oh, White Oak. Yeah.
This bridge right there over
this little
Creek
creek.
Drive. The road was out and they were doing construction, and the sign had said that the road was closed in 5 miles. I looked at my GPS. It said next turn was 4.4.
Standy
Yeah.
became a member. Standy celebrates 43 months of membership. Can you say
4.4 miles.
Before 10 p.m.
I think you can.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
So yeah, my road was closed in 5 miles. I was supposed to turn in 4.4. I'm like, all right. Started going, and I stopped again because I'm going downhill this whole time. I'm like, I should check and make sure that there's like, so I don't have to go all the way back up this. There's like another alternate route I can take if it does happen to be closed like before my turn. And luckily there was, so I kept going. Of course it was closed before I needed to turn, like just before. So and of course the other detour was back towards the way I came, which was fine, but it was all like uphill too.
Yeah.
But it was all right. And then got onto another super long climb, that Elk Lake Drive.
That's just long, steady one here.
You know, that was all gravel.
Over here.
It was really cool though. Basically, just through that green bit there was all that
there's
one
a
road,
steep one
and
there.
gravel.
Yeah.
It was challenging, but it was really beautiful riding. And then picked up that other bike trail in Forest City, up through Uniondale there, and was in the scouting out a camp spot.
Oh, this is the trail I've ridden, just not in this
Have you?
spot. Yeah, DNA. This is what I rode on the way home, the way out to Boston.
Okay.
When I
Yeah, there's
stopped
that
in Camp in
DNH,
Greenway.
and on the other side, there's that O and W. If you
Yeah,
zoom in a little.
Yeah, this might be actually where I went through.
Oh.
Uh,
I was on it
Carbon-
more
yeah,
the next day too.
I rode through Carbondale,
Okay.
so I was down in this area. I was thinking of this for a bikepacking trip next summer. I've been looking at some loops, anyways.
Yeah, but it was getting late enough that I was looking for a spot to camp. In the meantime, actually on that last big gravel climb, it had started raining, which didn't quite mind. It was warm enough. Like every day was super nice in the 60s and stuff. But riding along, and I did see something down by the river that looked fairly promising as far as like camping. Just a little grove of pine trees, and it was right on the river, and it was off the bike path. So I'm like, all right, I can get down there and like get set up, and I'd be like, out of the way, unseen. It was a little bit of you had to wheel the bike down. It was pretty rocky and leafy, and it was a decent sized hill. But I made it down there, and as I got into that grove of pine trees, it started smelling like a real like fishy, like dead fish smell. Like, oh, that's weird, but didn't really think anything of it. I'd leaned my bike over, and I was starting to unpack my tent and stuff. I'm noticing that every tree in this little grove is all scratched up. I'm like, that doesn't seem good. And it didn't look like it was like humans had done it. It looked like kind of looks like pretty obvious signs of bears. I'm like, oh great. So between that and
You're in a bear den.
the real fishy smell, I'm like, this probably isn't the best spot to stealth camp by myself.
Pudgy Bedell Pusher Super Shattered $1.99. Suck me truckers, you naughty dirty truckers.
Beans.
I didn't read the feed. Oh, by the way, before we go on, I have to say, Dylan's dad jumped in the stream. So
Oh, hey.
Yeah, right when you were talking about getting sucked.
Yeah,
Of course.
sorry about that.
Yeah, anyway, you know, since me and Dylan were just camping, we had been chatting. He was telling me about some of his dad's, like, biking across the U.S. and stuff like
Oh,
that.
nice.
So, and his bikes and all that, yeah. I think the last day when we were having morning coffee, we were talking about a bunch of that stuff, so.
Oh yeah, it could have been a trucker's den.
So you're in a bear, could have been a trucker's den.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was best not to camp there, so
Yeah.
I pushed my bike back up to the trail, and went like another maybe 10 miles up, which I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, all uphill.
Yeah, not it. It was. I mean, I was on the rail trail at that point,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was uphill, but it was like a real tiny grade.
Is this, where you were here on the D&H, was this pretty, like, rustic, the part of the trail? Because where I turned around, or maybe this is the climb I did, because I basically did a long railroad grade, then turned around and rode back down it.
Uh-huh.
The road I turned around at, basically, it said that it was unimproved beyond there, and I remember traveling through made his video and said it becomes much more, like, rustic once you pass a point that I believe I turned around at. I can't,
I don't.
because you
quite-
rode it a little the next.
Yeah, I rode quite a bit more the next day.
Because I think maybe I turned around at this Fiddle Lake Road.
Yeah, don't. By that time,
Yeah, I'll pull that map.
I mean, it didn't. I know where I got on that Forest City or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like, kind of just like a little bit trashy, and there were like, actually, there was another guy, kind of reminded me of the Freedom Trail a little bit, like burning trash, like camping out himself on
Yeah.
the side of the trail. So that little stretch was kind of weird. It did get more like naturey,
Yeah.
but from what I remember, it wasn't anything like super scenic. It's kind of just like along the river, which was nice, but
I think this
nothing.
must be exact, because I think I rode around. I'll have to go back and watch the video. I think I went into Uniondale. No, there's not really any streets here, huh? Yeah, I think I might have went up. This is like up a steep hill to get into town, maybe. I can't remember. I was somewhere right there, yeah, along the river. And then I came back on that other trail you're talking about, when I was able
the
to.
O&W.
Yeah, there was a way to. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a crossover somewhere. Maybe where it comes close here. Yep, there it is. So
Yeah.
that's where I was.
Okay.
Yeah. The O&W is real rough.
Yeah.
It's like true gravelly. The section I rode, anyways. So
Oh yeah, traveling through Forest City is sketchy.
is he in here?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
North
What's
of
up?
the trail gets a bit rough. Yeah, I didn't go up to the New York line. I went up to the next day. I think it was. I will have it pulled up, but yeah, this night I just pulled off like 10 miles further than.
So you're just camping on the side of the trail,
Yeah,
but traveling through is the king of stealth camping.
yeah.
Stealth camped
I
across
don't know
the
how
country.
we did it. I was actually thinking about that night, because yeah, this right here where the end is, this night, I found like a decent spot. It had been raining, so it was like kind of wet, but I just piled up some leaves and like set up on top of the leaves. But I did not sleep at all, like maybe 20 minutes the whole night. Just like mostly a mental thing. It was getting cold, like pretty cold at night, but
Yeah.
my sleeping bag I was real toasty in. But yeah, I think just mentally it was crawling into the tent, not quite used to it. There were like coyotes like at one point on either side of me, like howling.
Oh, really?
And like one of those things where you hear every little noise, like, so I just toss and turn, and got up super early again the next day, 70 miles. But yeah, that night, actually that early morning, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, how I'm doing it. I'm not hadn't slept well the first night. I did sleep awesome in the New
After the
Jersey
Century,
motel,
yeah.
but then didn't sleep like at all again, and doing big miles and like climby for me with that loaded bike.
Yeah.
So actually,
Yeah, no, this is the thing to remember. Like, this is a good climby day, anyways. But with the heaviest bike you've ever ridden on, also,
Yeah.
like, that's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, before I left that morning, the only camp that had like officially booked was a hip camp for day 5. It was like this little farm with goats, and so that was the only thing that I had actually like paid money and booked ahead of time. Everything else was kind of just feel it out, you know. But so early this morning, I'm like, I'm getting sick. Like my throat was super sore at that
I
point.
can't believe you kept going.
Uh,
As we all told,
I don't think I would have if I didn't like decide. I decided like, all right, I know I have this hip camp booked, which was pretty good peace of mind. Like I know that it's somewhere that I'm allowed to stay first of all.
Yeah.
But like, there'll be people around, and it's like I know where it is. It's there. It's a guaranteed spot. But I told myself like I'm just gonna do like if I can find cheaper motels along my route the rest of the ride for every other night, like I'm gonna do that because I know I'm sleeping well in those, and yeah, just like a little more peace of mind because I was not sleeping at all, getting sick. So yeah, that was my kind of decision after not sleeping that second night of stealth camping, which I think for me it was the right choice because yeah, like I was saying, I think I would have just gotten sicker and sicker if I tried to keep stealth camping. I mean, maybe I would have gotten tired enough that I would have just passed out, you know. But
yeah, eventually, but
I,
or burned out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because for those you don't know, so Erin was coming back from after Nutmeg. She went up to the Berkshires and camped at a cabin, visited a friend, did some hiking, did some riding. So she was driving all the way back on Wednesday. Me and Dylan were driving all the way back on Thursday. So we had told Ben, like, those are 2 chances you have to get picked up somewhere along the route if it's not going well. Because we'd be heading in the same, you know, we'd be close enough that it wouldn't be crazy out of our way to grab you.
yeah. And then the whole time after my mom had texted me, her and my dad were like, we can come get you. We can get you.
Yeah, I know. It'd be
And
one
then
thing.
Yonda too, before I
Yeah.
even left, it's like, if you need a bailout, I can come get you.
And that's the other thing. This would have been like, you know, just like even looking at this was day 4, right? Yeah, 68, 4,000 feet. Day 4 after climbing, having bigger days before this. This would have been such a challenge on a loaded bike if you were completely healthy. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
What were these motels like? Were these kind of?
They actually, all of them were like, especially for just being on a whim, like kind of just that's there, it's available, and it's like cheap enough for me, and just like getting it because like a couple of them were like, yeah, we have 1 room left. I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were, every single one of them was fucking decent, at least. I was calling it by the end of the trip the 2024 bedbug tour, just because it was a bunch of cheap motels. But
good-
yeah, they were all like the one, actually this night
in
was
Tol-
when I was
Towanda?
feeling like the peak of my sickness. Had like a brand new like furnished bathroom in there, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm taking a bath tonight. So I took a motel bath. It was
Oh
like
my.
the cleanest bathroom that I had ever, like, not even for a motel or a hotel. It was like just in general,
Huh.
like
Yeah.
pretty wild. But
Oh, the motel's up there. Okay, this
Yeah,
is a
that's-
shopping center. Yeah.
yeah, so I had, by the end of the day, like, yeah, got food there and then over to the motel.
I wish Strava had the little. I could put the little Google guy on there for Street
Oh,
View.
yeah.
I was looking for him. I'm like, oh, this is the wrong app.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing because look around, like the semi trucks parked. This does not look like it would be, but they do have a new roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
The kind of things you think about when you own a building.
And this was actually one of my least favorite days of riding. Just got, so like middle of the work week it must have been, and like a huge stretch of this was on just this bigger road with no shoulder, and just all these trucks, like gas trucks. This was a day.
This is the one you told me that it was like there must have been some kind of industry here.
Yeah, there's a few different businesses you could tell, because there was like lumber trucks going by full of like trucks full of logs, zooming by, and then like I don't know if it was mining or what, but they had like just giant slabs of rock that they were like hauling. And then the worst was like every 2 minutes there was this chemical or gas company had these like chemical trucks that would zoom by, and like 1 out of 3 of them would like get over and like pass you, like
Yeah, give you the room.
even like close to enough room, and then the other 2 would just, it's like way too close. And it was just this one, like, because all the other trucks would give you like a decent amount of room when they could. For some reason, this chemical company with these giant
guys didn't
trucks
care.
were just buzzing me for like probably 30 miles. So that day was kind of just a lot of that, not super fun. But yes, so got this motel that night. Actually took like 2 baths in a row. They had
Wait, how do you take 2 baths? You got out and then got back in?
So they had a like Keurig type coffee maker thing, but they had tea, like decaf tea, and I instantly, that was the first thing I did, made like 1 big cup of tea, just chugged it. So just having like the hot liquid. So I was trying trying to just flush this cold away. So pounded a cup of tea, took a bath, got out. I had 2 more cups of tea, and then like before I went to bed that night, took another bath. Drank all the tea that they had. Took a shower the next morning, and actually by the end of that, I felt so much better. Like my sore throat was completely gone the next day. Still had like a runny-ish nose, but if that's all it was, like I wasn't complaining. And yeah, for the rest of the trip, it was actually fairly manageable. Just having a runny-ish nose.
Yeah.
And then it was, I think, peace of mind too, knowing that I had the one hip camp and then the rest of it like in hotels or motels. Just knowing that I had somewhere to stay and it was hopefully going to be like a good night's rest. So that was nice.
Hey, Dave, do you mind beering us? My leg's asleep. I'm going to fall over if I get up. I'm trying to readjust Edmund. Traveling through asked you, do you know if you were, I know you drew some of the route. Were you following Bike Route Y?
Oh, not knowingly, but
Do you need one?
Sure. I did end up on Y for quite a while, and I ended up on a few different PA bike routes, and most of them were decent. Not like the one that Woody and I ended up on,
the worst,
going into Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Glenn made a couple disc brake comments, but I'm not sure what you mean. So I know Pudgy asked too.
Maybe there should be
But he said some.
What are you drinking about?
Here, you can have one of these.
Sure, I'll take one. Thanks.
But he asked if maybe the disc brakes were making using disc brakes. I don't know. I'm someone who doesn't mind rim brakes, but with the amount of weight you were hauling and going down the mountains you were going down, I'll take disc brakes in that
Yeah.
situation. And I'm someone who's totally cool with rim brakes. So
I had brought up before I left to Yonda. I was like, I think I already know for my next trip like this, I think I'm gonna run bigger rotors.
oh yeah,
Just when my bike was loaded, when we were doing the Finger Lakes, coming down some of those big descents with a loaded bike, it was like
Fridge full of film and beer.
it's on brand.
Yeah, but just felt a little bit sketchy. But
Did you have to adjust them a number of times?
no,
Not
the
at all.
only thing I had
No.
any sort of issues
You
with.
have clampers on that, right?
No,
All clampers?
just BB7.
Oh, BB7's on the
Yeah.
Monsoon. What do you have your clampers on?
Clampers I had on that Fellow Orange and they're
Ah.
on the Journeyer now.
Hmm.
But the
Maybe they're right about the BB7s. Even after Nutmeg, I had to adjust my Grotech equals again.
yeah,
Are the
those-
BB7s dual
I did
piston?
just put in new brake pads too. No, they're just
They're single.
Yeah.
What, single piston? Huh.
Yep.
I'm finding myself after when I really have to hit the brakes hard, adjusting the inner pad, the one that doesn't move.
mhm.
And I'm just wondering if I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, they're mechanical. The BB7's bike breath. Yeah. Avid, yeah, Avid
Yeah.
BB7. These are the ones that Otis swears by, right?
Maybe.
I think he's always selling
They're
everyone.
just like run of the mill,
Yeah.
cheapish.
Yeah, I think for the price, I've just heard a number of mechanics say you can't beat them for what they are.
I think Bicycle Pubes has a sticker or shirt that says BB7s are probably fine. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you proved that.
Yeah.
I guess there's two kinds of braking. I mean, like all that weight and on long descent, you're probably able to feather it out more. Whereas Nutmeg or something where it's steep, and I might be
Yeah.
grabbing a fistful of them here and there. So,
There also, I wasn't sure, but there wasn't anything like super steep as far as descending,
yeah,
which was nice, and not like super like twisty turny either. Most of them were just like you could see where you were going, and yeah, some of them were like long gradual descents. But
yeah. Everything we've looked at the profile kind of looks like that. Like even here, like this looks like a super long,
yeah,
like reasonably.
and this day kind of sucked because there was some fun type descending, but I got about 15 miles in, and at
Okay.
just the top of one of these little like peaks there, just headwind like crazy.
Oh, is that
And-
what you titled this one? Yeah.
Yeah, just wild headwind, and it was like for the rest of the day. So even when I was hitting some of those big descents, I would have to pedal like
Oh,
going
that's
down
the
just
worst.
to stay at like 10 miles per
Yeah.
hour. It was horrible. And then yeah, hit some really weird towns on this day. That Canton, I had stopped there for lunch. I pulled up the map, saw I was gonna be close, and if they had any food or not. They had this place called Canton Brewery or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, I can grab a beer, some food, and I get out there, lock my bike, go in, and there's like no one in this place, like standing there, like I can hear people eating, like on the other side of this wall. So there's like people here.
What do you mean? You're just like hearing people like chomping?
Well, like
Just
they're
open
having a
mouth.
conversation. They're sitting down having a conversation, you know. So
Yeah.
there's like people using this establishment, but there's not like a hostess. And I had like kind of walked around some of the restaurant and like didn't see anyone like actually working there.
Ah,
Like there were people hanging out, eating, drinking. I'm like, what is going on? And it was like an uncomfortable amount of time. And
I
it
hate
got to the
those
point where I'm like,
situations.
I'm gonna stand here for one more minute, and if no one comes out here, I'm gonna find somewhere else. So I was literally counting down in my head, like from 60 seconds, and like I don't know, probably 20 seconds left. The hostess finally came out. Like, what the fuck is going on? But and she didn't apologize or anything. She's just
Oh.
like, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, a table.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, got the menu, and it, like for being a brewery, they just had like all other people's stuff. And,
They
like,
just
which
put
is fine.
brewery on the name.
Yeah,
They're not a brewery.
but you're not a brewery.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being like average.
Man,
It was just
the
a
French
weird.
sandwich guy came out.
Yeah, see that guy I would be happy to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Now at
We
this.
had become buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just a den of truckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was real weird. Got back on the road, and my next stop, I wanted to like find something before I got to this camp because I didn't know if there would be anything else along the way.
Oh wow, yeah, this looks real middle of nowhere here. This is just
Yeah.
all green, huh?
I think it was down here somewhere. There's a little place called Blossburg,
I'll go back to normal.
and it must have been like an old mining town. It might. Oh yeah,
Oh, there
right
it is.
there.
Yeah.
But again, I pulled up the map, and there was a place like fresh meats and deli or something like that. It sounded like it would be like a decent enough spot, and I go in, and it was kind of just the weirdest, like Star Wars cantina type grocery store. There's like people like hunched over shopping carts, like pushing themselves with their legs, and like it was just like a bunch of zombies almost. It was so weird in this little weird town. No offense if you're from Blossburg, but
Yeah, but why not stand up straight?
yeah, it was just like I don't know. The people in there were just so. There was a guy that had mopped the entire floor in the middle of the day and like just left water like everywhere. So I'd like gone around one of the aisles and almost fallen.
You're like, man, this is a better one than everyone was.
That's
on.
why that guy wasn't walking straight. Because the fucking floor. I just put that together.
Yeah, he needed to balance himself on the car so he didn't fall down like he was on an ice skating rink.
Yeah. But
Do you think maybe like in these mining towns they switched from meth to heroin and it just slowed the pace down?
I don't know what was going on there. And for being like the deli that was on the outside of the, on the sign, they had like, they did have a deli, but I thought they would have like, a couple like pre-made things like
Yeah,
most
get a
grocery
sandwich,
store.
yeah.
There was none of that. So I ended up finding like, I think I bought a package of like 6 donuts and walked out the door. And as I'm walking out to unlock my bike, this older lady goes, "Excuse me, young man. Like, I really like your hat." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. It's actually a cycling cap." I was
You
just did a-
corrected this lady and
just did a cycling event the other day, and she invited me to church later that night, and she was really weird too. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. But yeah, between those two little towns, it's like, what is going on here? But actually, after that, by the time I got up to that kind of Wellsboro Junction, there's a start of
yeah.
a bike path there.
Oh wait, I don't have this on the screen.
Oh.
Wait, so
Right across the
Bossburg was down here.
yeah.
And here.
It's kind of just, kind of back roads in between. This kind of out and back so right at the start of the bike path there's another little like farm market, and that place was actually really nice.
Why does Wellsboro Junction sound familiar? Yeah. Wellsboro. I don't know. Maybe I've been through there for something. Let's see. Where are we in the bigger picture of everything?
Yeah, kind
Oh,
of.
somewhere in the north of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, kind
Oh,
of.
above Williamsport. So the freeway goes kind of past Williamsport. Or the term. Yeah,
Can you
so-
see what the name of that bike trail?
Let's see.
Right towards the end. Pine Creek.
Pine Creek.
That was
That sounds real familiar.
that was one of the prettier trails that I was on, and I was only on it for a tiny. I mean, this little section, obviously, but the next day I was back on it for like maybe 6 miles. But it looked like it went right in between like a couple of mountains, like a little pass, and it looked like it went way further.
I think I must have been zooming around looking at this on a map at some point. It sounds totally familiar, or it's something that Traveling Throughs made a video about. But why did you ride the trail out, and what are you doing here?
Do you see right where I turned around? There's
Yeah.
that
This
road.
gravel road or
It's
whatever?
not a. I was my since I had made this on Ride with GPS, it thought that was a road, but it was just a farm.
Oh, you were
private.
going to cut over and ride to
Yeah.
your spot. Yeah.
So I had to backtrack. It was only like a mile,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it did kind of suck. But yeah, so that is
The hip camp?
the hip camp.
Yeah.
It's a goat farm there, and a couple of guard dogs. They had an outdoor shower, which was real nice. It wasn't a motel bath, but
Wait, this is
did
the
the
one
trick.
where... Is this the one where the lady had you go in the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to tell this.
Yeah. So I roll up, and it looked like the place that I had booked, but I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
I wanted to, before I just like started setting everything up, I had sent the lady a message saying that I would be there in like half an hour. Hadn't heard any reply in between then and when I got there, so I stood outside for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I'll just knock and let them know that I'm here, figure out where I'm supposed to like set my stuff up at. And I knock, and she's like, oh, come in. And I walk in, she's sitting in a chair with her like kind of just chilling, like I didn't do too much investigating. I did see a wall full of soaps, which made sense. It's a goat farm. She's probably making
Goat soap?
Yeah. But she made very
I mean, it makes sense, but yeah.
made very for some reason wanted to make it a point that I realized that she was soaking her feet, which was fine too, but she's like, oh yeah, I'll show you where to set up, but I gotta brew my feet for another 15 minutes or something. And I looked down, and it's just like this, it looked like tomato soup. It was just so gross, like this brown viscous liquid. And she just kept talking about her. This whole day was a weird day, but
Yeah,
Just
with
like-
a weird ending.
I was like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
Just tell me where to set my tent up. But yeah, she was kind of a weirdo, but nice enough.
Yeah, really, someone owns a goat farm in the middle of nowhere with a
Yeah.
shelf full of goat soap soaking her feet is kind of a
Yeah.
weirdo.
And of course, there was this Great Dane in a little like cage that she had. She's like, yeah, I'm babysitting him. It's his first day here, and it was literally right next to where my tent was set up. Like, oh, this is gonna. It just kept barking like when I rolled in, but she did reassure me. She's like, oh, I'm gonna bring him in for the night. And as soon as I like got over there and started like setting my tent up, it was like comfortable enough that it wasn't barking. But yeah, that was one thing I was just gonna happen to do not eat her spaghetti sauce.
Oh man. I made you some grilled cheese with soup.
Yeah,
Did you use the outdoor shower?
I did, and that was kind of weird too because she had come out to like grab the dog, and she was like fiddling around with the goats, but I told her I was gonna like planning on taking a shower, so she came out, said that she had turned the water off because it had gotten cold like a few days earlier. But she's like, I got it back on for you, but then she just kept like kind of milling around. Like, I was kind of, hoping she would go back inside.
Yeah.
Not trying to like, I mean, it was enclosed, so I'm not like out in the, the bear. But it just was kind of like, she was milling around like, and there was a lock on the outside of the shower, so this could get. She's gonna make soup out of me.
Yeah, you'll be. Yeah, she'll be brewing her feet in Ben.
Yeah. But yeah, that ended.
Yeah,
up
this has
being
all the
fine.
makings of every horror movie I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
it did kind
It's
of
like
feel
very
like
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did she wash it back? I'm having a hard time reaching the. Wow.
She actually pulled down a bar of soap and said, "This was the last camper that stayed here." But yeah, it ended up being fine. I slept actually all right, and then knew that I had like decent sleep coming up for the rest of this trip.
Hey Edmund, don't mess with everything. Like, you either want to behave or you go play.
This next day was actually, I think, my favorite day out of riding all of them.
67 miles, 3,500. Oh, is this the one that you said you were telling us was mostly gravel?
Yeah, there was a good amount. It started out back on that Pine Creek trail, which, sun was coming up, and it was a really pretty ride. So started out on that, then got on like some main roads, but then
Pudgy Bedell Pusher super chatted $1.99. She wanted to see why he's called Large Marge, Hot Dog, Aubergine, Banana.
Aubergine?
What's it?
I don't know.
Eggplant? Is that what the British call it?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
That's the British word for eggplant? Aubergine? Anyways.
Yeah. So I wish
yeah.
I would have been on this rail trail longer, so not very long.
Oh, yeah.
Then back out onto the kind of main road. It's that the Grand Army of the Republic. That was the one that I was on for that real climby day with the big shoulder. This didn't have quite a big of shoulder at this point, but it was fine.
Did Duarte say he was in here? I think he said he had ridden the Grand Army of the Republic Road.
Oh.
No, he was talking about the.
The town.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said he pulled up their website. Last updated in '97.
Web 1.0 type. Yeah.
But yeah, kind of just roads for a while this day, and then it was
2 big climbs basically.
Yeah.
Like one real just.
I think that second big climb maybe. Yeah. So right at the bottom, turned onto this crazy gravel road. I think that was it.
Oh yeah, that's the top right there.
Oh, that's yeah. Oh, I guess it would have been the first one. Anyways, got onto this big climb. Oh, that's another story too. Damn. If you zoom in, how would you pronounce the name of this? Zoom in a little more.
Where that river comes in?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Cooter sport?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, I had that in my head for about half the day. This was the first place outside of Cootersport that I saw an advertisement for sheets, which I was pretty excited
Now a
about.
Sheets was sounding like a good.
Yeah.
You
said-
know what's gonna happen at a
It
Sheets.
said, "We now have schnuggets." I go, "Oh, hell yeah." And then I read through read through Cootersport and didn't see the sheets, and I'm like on the edge of it, and I'm like about to cross this bridge, and I see a guy on this like shittier looking e-bike
Yeah.
going the opposite direction. I like gave him the peace sign or like waved like I do to anyone on a bike, you know, and he noticed me and instantly like just grabs handful of brakes, and I'm just going at like 10 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Just whips it around, and he chases me down, and then he like whips by me, and then he's trying to have a conversation. He's like asking where I'm going, and this all would have been fine, but I was like fairly worn out by the time I got here. I'm trying to find these schnuggets. And he was just riding like real erratically, and we're like cars flying by, you know. He's like trying to ride side by side, and I'm just like, anytime he tries to do that, I'll slow down so he gets ahead of me, and it was just real annoying. And as like he had finally like kind of been done with the conversation, and said something about like, all right, we'll have a good one, and I was trying to be nice to him, but I was
Yeah.
like
Annoyed.
yeah. As that's happening, the sheets goes by, and I'm like, well, I can't stop now. It's gonna fucking turn in here.
Yeah.
So I was so excited for this shitty gas station, and then couldn't.
That guy
enjoy
ruined it for you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was. After that, it ended up being actually, yeah, pretty nice. Got up into like some game land.
How's that all this stuff here?
Yeah, I think a little, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
state
this
game lands.
this whole green area here was like this really fucking, like as soon as so turning off, I think right there, that turn was off of that highway, the Republic thing,
Yeah.
just onto this straight gravel road. As soon as I turned, it was just this weird, really weird vibe. And I don't know why. It was just super quiet, nothing around. As soon as and it was like a 5-mile climb, like all the way up. But as soon as I started climbing, like really like beautiful area, but just like tires dumped off the side of this, like everywhere.
Everyone like drives out of town and then throws their.
I guess they're just pissed that they missed the Cootersport sheets or
They didn't get any schnuggets.
yeah.
Glenn wants to know what a schnugget is. We don't know because he never got to
Yeah,
find out.
I think it just
It's just a
nuggets.
nugget.
Yeah.
Sheets names everything. Spurger.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Schmuffins.
Schmitza.
Yeah. They just put a SH in front of all their food. But yeah, this whole climb here, big gravel climb, just like real weird. And then like maybe in the hour and a half that it took me to do the whole stretch, there were like 3 or 4 pickups that went by, like real rowdy, like, and then like I said, just piles of trash, tires and toilets and all this stuff just dumped down the side of this super steep hill. And then yeah, finally get down that, do a little bit of a descent, and then up and over, like that's what that weird little line is, up and over some railroad tracks, and then just so that would be like this point here.
Oh
So
yeah.
see how that's, I think it's like mile 52. It's a 20-mile descent,
Oh, nice. Oh yeah.
basically 20 mile.
You're just
So
all the
from
way.
that Keating summit, and this whole area was like a big kind of ghost town, uh, which was really weird too. So I'm like flying through all these like run down, abandoned like buildings and churches and like just super bizarre. And it was finally not like super headwindy either. So
You
actually,
just like kind of finally cruise down
yeah,
something.
that was so much fun, and that climb up too.
Yeah, these towns have names, but there's no roads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one road. Yeah, that road through there.
And then yeah, basically all the way down to the motel that I was at for the night.
Was there anything in this emporium? Well, you didn't go in at night. Did you just do
There was. This would have been, I guess, out of all the motels, been the worst one, but it was still like not even like the conditions of the motel itself.
Google Maps
Yeah.
has a cloud over it.
I think right across that street that I came in on was their town's football field.
Yeah.
So that little green
Oh, that green.
square.
Yeah.
And it happened to be, I think it was a Friday night. There happened to be a football game, and there were like fireworks and stuff. Luckily, it was still fairly early, but then attached to the motel too was this shitty little restaurant, and all these old people eating there. So for like a good like 2 hours, that's all like these old people were just like shuffle out like in front of my motel door and like talk about their meal for the day, you know, or like the football game. And I was like, man, is this gonna go on all night? But luckily, I mean, since it was all old people,
It ended pretty early.
yeah, it was very early. I actually got to enjoy my stay. And there was like the slightest like.
Were you
door.
setting up your camp stuff on these motel beds, or were you like getting in
No,
these?
I would like.
This is why you're calling it the bed bug tour. 'Cause
Yeah.
You were getting in those
Yeah.
beds.
I mean, I would have used my stuff if shit looked, you know,
Like that rough.
Yeah. But yeah, everything was, as far as like the conditions of the actual motels and stuff, they were all like, I was super surprised, because they were all nice.
And then this is where they have Unbound, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same name of the town?
Emporia,
Ah, Emporia.
close.
Yeah, that's the plural, right? Or is one Greek and one's Latin, maybe? Emporia, Emporia.
Yeah.
I don't.
But yeah, the next day I did go through here and hit this
Oh, there's a trail
recreational
right there.
trail. That was the one.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I think I had a photo of it where, for some reason, there were like a lot of signs that said no wheeled vehicles allowed, even though it's labeled the recreation trail,
Yeah.
right? So, and they would have a photo of of a snowmobile. Actually, yeah, that second photo there. So
Oh.
no wheeled vehicles, but there was no one out.
Do you think they were meaning 4x4 so you didn't tear them up with
It
a
said
snow?
wheeled.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, no wheeled vehicles.
I don't know why you would.
It's just got to be a winter sign. Because remember when we were in Michigan though, and those signs were about like the bikes you needed, but they were only for
Yeah.
winter or like when they were grooming them.
Yeah, it was.
I
weird,
bet it is
though,
so it's like
just-
so ATVs aren't tearing up the snow. Maybe I don't.
But
I-
I did go through a lot of towns that said specific, no, not even on bike trails. It was like any little trail that went into the woods, like no ATV. Like they would specify.
Oh, they said ATV. Huh,
Yeah. It was or motorized. Like they would do that too, but yeah, I thought it was weird, and it was only for like maybe a 4 mile stretch, and then there was like a road crossing, and it said like it had a bicycle on the sign. It was,
So just
I don't know, it was
super
really,
confusing.
yeah,
I still have a feeling it's winter stuff, but
yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know, why wouldn't they like cover them at least? when it
Because
wasn't?
let's go back to the whole story about everything else that's happened on this trip.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
plus just I think that's the other thing. Like these signs are confusing to us, but they're not to the people who are there. You know, they.
yeah. And
Let's
this
see
was
what Dimitri said. We have rail trails here that are snowmobile trails in the winter, but dirt bike ATVs are illegal, even though people still ride it in the summer.
yeah.
Dimitri's up by Toronto, so
This was a nice full day of riding too, like super chill. It was very cold the first couple hours on this trail.
how early did you
Like to
start
the-
on this day?
It wasn't even that early. I think 8 o'clock maybe. Let's see.
7:24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Couple after a couple baths.
yeah. No, that one was the only place that I would
Get in the
felt
bathtub.
comfortable taking a bath, but yeah, this was all like bike path and back roads like the whole day, which was nice. But yeah, it was super chilly in the morning to the point where I had to stop and like pull out my stove and made a couple cups of coffee
Mm.
and some oatmeal, which ended up it was like the very last of my gas stove, so luckily I didn't need to use that anymore.
Hmm.
But yeah, it got warmed up enough, and then yeah, up into the game lands,
Oh,
which
this
was
gets.
cool.
Oh, that was a super climbing start, huh?
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
so nice little start to the day. But then got to that Wilcox. There was a little. They said it was a brewery too, but it wasn't.
Oh,
But-
did you have a picture of that?
I think yeah. The bike on the. That was
That was a hotel. Oh, I'm surprised these places made you feel comfortable, Alex.
The outside, I mean, it just looks like a shitty motel, but yeah, they were surprisingly not bad.
Oh,
So yeah, this is the actually, if you go back one more, the outside of the place, the Wilcox Tannery House. This is another real weird place, but the bartender was super friendly. She was like the one person that, besides the Schnugget ruiner, had like saw that I was like riding a bike and like actually like asking about it, and then her
Wow.
husband came in and he was asking stuff, and yeah, had a beer and a couple coffees and a nice meal, and then from there it was like another one of those like straight up the hill type things on a like into the
Oh.
game lands.
oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
steep.
that guy was
Dylan had a question here. So Ben showed
That-
us, for context, Ben showed us the biggest Anchor power bank I think we've
Yeah.
ever seen in our lives
it
before
was
we
like
took it.
about the size and the weight of a brick.
Yeah,
uh,
like an actual brick. This was an actual power brick.
I can tell you that it would have come in very handy if I was camping. the
Oh
whole
yeah,
time.
because you ended up being able to plug your stuff in.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I
we
still
can't-
did use it quite a bit, but I definitely did not need it for the ride that I ended up doing.
Yeah, how does that? I mean, I guess you don't know what you don't know, but it is kind of probably a little bit annoying that you hauled all that gear and only used
Yeah.
it 2 nights.
I would do that exact same ride again. Maybe change the one like busy road day if I could find something, but just not take all my camping stuff. And a few other things. I think I had a little list of like stuff that I really appreciated bringing and stuff that I definitely didn't need.
Yeah, I would say a good description of the power bank would be comically large.
Yeah. It definitely worked though.
It was the first night of vacation. We were just staying in a KOA cabin, and he pulled it out, and we were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
I was like, "That might as well be carrying a generator."
Yeah. So I don't know if I actually said, but I wasn't. My plan was to just camp the whole way, and I did have it in the back of my mind if I, you know, I always had the option of trying to find a campground or
Yeah.
a hotel or a motel or Airbnb, you know, any of that. So that was my original plan was to camp the whole way. So I definitely would have needed that if that were the case. But
I was trying to figure out here because I saw Tianesta Forest, which I thought was over more by Jake's Rocks.
so I know
Oh, Oil City though, Titusville. Okay, that's where we like it.
some of that. At least the last little bit is the Allegheny National
Yeah,
Forest.
that's it. What are we looking at here? Oh, Tianesta Creek. It must be a. I've just stayed there before, but yeah, all of them along here is places.
But that was
Oh,
another
whoops, did I-
wild, super wild ride, especially coming out of that Wilcox. So, yeah, up this gravel road into this. They called it an experimental forest.
Yeah, what does
I
that
don't
mean?
know. I have no idea. There was a sign every couple hundred feet,
Yeah, I had your
But
picture up there. It's an experimental
Yeah.
forest.
but I never saw any info about it. So basically all the way up to the top of this big climb, and then there's just the start of a bike trail up at the top, the Knox and Kane or Kane
Oh,
and
yeah,
Knox,
here it is,
something
yeah.
like that.
Knox and Kane, yeah.
And that was real random. It was like a mix of limestone, and then it'd be gravel, and then eventually way down the way I was 3 or 4 miles from my motel and hit one intersection in the Allegheny Forest. I'm still on this rail trail, but hit one intersection, and across it is where I'm supposed to be going. It just disappears. I mean, there's still a resemblance of there might have been at one time a bike path there, but it's all overgrown. And I think there was a photo on this day too of that exact intersection. But so it went from basically the towpath to probably towards the end to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
just it.
So there obviously was a bike path there, but it's overgrown.
Nobody's
now.
maintained it forever.
And it looks completely rideable. It just one of those things where you don't know if
You're gonna
You
be
get
hauling
around
your
the
bike
next-
over a ton
yeah,
of trees,
the
and
next corner is there going to be a bunch of storm damage that's impassable. There ended up being a couple big trees down, but luckily I was close enough to my destination that even if it took me a couple hours to do this 4 miles, I was still going to be completely fine. But it was just this whole, I bet it was a 60+ mile trail. It was really cool riding too. I really enjoyed fairly calm.
I wonder if basically what they're doing is there used to be mines, or they've already logged this, so they're replanting it. The government is. When I say experimental, they're probably trying stuff, or maybe it's a section that was taken out by some kind of invasive species. So they're who knows. Test forest for the National Forest Service. Yeah, because national forests are usually for resource extraction or
I thought they were just getting weird in there, but
No one said they weren't getting weird in there.
yeah. this day I was getting a little weird myself.
Is that what? Wait, is this day 6?
Uh,
Yeah.
Maybe even 7 at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
day 7. Yeah.
Coming up out of Wilcox, I don't know why, but it was like a good idea to put on Limp Bizkit. I don't know. I listened to Nookie like 4 times in a row going up this climb, and it just made sense. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I was experimenting myself.
Yeah, you're in
Getting
an
into
experimental
shitty
forest.
music.
Yeah, maybe rap rock's you're like maybe I missed the boat on something.
I don't know. Yeah. It had been since like 2001 since I had actually listened to that song. But yeah, pretty great. Overall, a really fun day. So this day and the day before, yeah.
Man, I mean, obviously I've never been 7 days in and probably 28,000 feet of climbing on a trip. I don't know if there's a ride that could drive me to Limp Bizkit.
I don't know. I was, going to some weird. This day I was also thinking, I had the idea that we should at some point do Fear and Loathing on the Ohio to Erie Trail. Like, that'd be a great idea.
Just see how
Just
weird
bring a bunch of drugs. Sorry, Dylan's dead.
Oh, I'm sure we've lost Dylan's dad by now.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've lost his Trying to go to the next page for day 8. Now we got it here.
Yeah, this one.
The PA Vision Quest, yeah.
Yeah. This one actually, the first literal like half of this whole day was on the rest of that bike trail, the Knox and Cane.
Oh, it's slightly downhill.
Yeah, it was nice, and then kind of just back roads, weird roads into.
So when you were going like downhill here,
Mm-hmm.
literally downhill, not figuratively downhill. I don't know. Did you think back to the Limp Bizkit day and were you?
No, this morning I had actually realized that I did have some of those mushroom capsules. I'm like, oh, I'm on this bike trail for like half the day. I'm just gonna eat these mushrooms. So somehow I did not get back into Limp Bizkit on the mushrooms.
Of course you didn't.
Yeah.
Who could listen to Limp Bizkit? Well, you wouldn't have called it if you were going to listen to Limp Bizkit. You wouldn't have called them mushrooms. You would have called them boomers.
Yeah. Yeah, this was kind of a giant stretch on that.
Are you
bike
sure
trail.
you were an experimental? Anyways.
Yeah, basically half the day on that. The rest
Oh,
of that
okay.
bike
So
trail.
Knox, that's why it was called that. It ends in the...
And then a little down, I think I had crossed, Emlenton did a big crossing of the Allegheny, well, across a bridge. But
Yeah, that sounds familiar too. Someone
yeah, that sounded really familiar to me, and I don't know why. It didn't look familiar at all.
Huh. Yeah, why is that? Where on the Allegheny are we? So maybe when we're going out east, where would the freeways be? Let's see. Because at some point we turn north to go to like Jake's Rocks and past Titusville, where we. I don't know. Yeah, it just sounds really, really familiar. Maybe it's just from seeing it on the signs every time we go out towards the east. There's probably a freeway exit with Emlington. It could be as simple as that. But okay, yeah. So here you're all the way down almost.
Yeah.
Like at the lowest point.
It might have been right around here that I did find it funny. I saw a sign for like a car dealership or something called Nucci's. Thinking back to the day before, I did it all for the Nucci's.
I can only imagine the songs you had written in your head because I do a century and
Yeah.
I mean I get up and see Edmund and start making our songs, but I can imagine day 9 on it or this date.
But yeah, out of Emlenton, there was a nice big climb. There.
Oh,
So you're
yeah.
basically down
Ooh,
to the river.
11%. Yeah.
And then kind of just unmemorable until into Grove City. It kind of got, you're like in an airport area,
Yeah.
like almost like Montrose, like big, like shitty roads. There was a Sheetz, so I finally got to go to a Sheetz.
Oh, that's the photo you sent me at Aaron?
Yeah.
No
And
back.
then
Yeah.
first motel that I think that it might have actually been a hotel, stayed at that had a pool, so I got to,
Oh,
to
nice.
swim, and then just had basically right across the Ohio border, like, or very close. Grove City is.
Oh,
to-
literally right by an airport.
Yeah. So the next day, I was looking at like 100 to get back home, but I knew in the back of my head I'd be going through Garrettsville, which is where my parents live, where I grew up, and I kind of just planned to stay there, to do that 70 whatever, and then
So originally you
Easier.
were going to make that full ride, but you're like,
that's what I had mapped, but I knew, like, I mapped it knowing that, you know, depending on how everything went, I had the option to break that up.
how was that, like, from Youngstown to Warren? Because we've kind of talked about, I mean, you skirted Youngstown.
Yeah.
Did you ride the Mill Creek Trail and stuff? Is that what that is up through there?
Some of it. So, actually, right before the border, there's a bike path called the Stavich.
Oh, yeah,
Sta-
yeah.
So got to pick that up and cross into Ohio on that, and then I made a detour up in Struthers. There's this place that I've been looking at for a while.
Is that where we are here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
called like the Iron Soup or the something sheet metal housing. It was this little like village that this company had built for their employees in the 30s, of all these like this housing development basically, but it's all like mostly abandoned.
Oh, you
think-
told me about this before, right? Yeah.
And I was so close that I saw it on the map. I'm like, I have to finally check this place out. But yeah, I did put a few photos in there somewhere. This is a weird little town too. But yeah, there's like all these just few pockets of these developments of
It's like an
housing.
abandoned company town.
Yeah. Yeah, old. Just pretty wild. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's Mill Creek.
yeah. But in between there, so going through Youngstown, it was like kind of weird. And then like
Always
that
is.
whole
Always is.
that whole west bit from there was just not the best riding. It just, the roads kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But then did hit that bike path going up to Warren.
Oh, yeah, Mill Creek all the way up. Yeah.
And then I hadn't been on a lot of that stretch into Warren either. That bike trail. There's some just run down shit all
No,
in there.
Warren is Warren's rough. I mean, we stopped there, and it's. I don't know, where were we going when we did that? Out to Pymatuning?
Uh,
Is
Yeah,
that what
right.
that?
yeah,
That's-
or Pamatuna. Yeah, because we had stopped at Modern Methods.
Yeah, Pymatuning's right up there. Oh yeah, because out of Warren, you could just kind of keep going. Yeah, we went around Mosquito Lake here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Warren is a town that. It's a Rust Belt town that has not had much recovery.
yeah. It's almost like reminded me of a super Akron, almost like just
Yeah.
some of the industrial, like rundown industrial stuff. But yeah, neighborhoods and stuff too. There's like a lot of just super like beat up abandoned places. But yeah, once I got kind of to the north of Warren, that was all familiar.
Yeah, now you're back on.
So that like my whole goal of this whole trip was to kind of connect wanderer points. So
Yeah.
my main goal was to connect some of the Nutmeg stuff into up to Poughkeepsie, which we had ridden before,
Yeah.
but then just back to stuff that we had ridden in Ohio. So once we hit that, I was like, I could be done now if I,
Yeah.
like if I, yeah, that would have been my main goal. But I was, yeah, close enough to my parents, and then the next day, close enough to home.
A ride you've done a bunch,
Yeah,
like tons. All right, Bike Breath. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
yeah. Should have called when you were in Grove City.
What's the other Grove City? Called? What do you mean, Pudgy?
Called you? Were you in Grove City?
Well, there's a Grove City by Columbus.
Yeah, it wasn't that far. If that's
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Grove City's.
Ohio, jackass.
Yeah, down here.
Ah,
Grove City's where we stopped on the way back from Ohio to Erie that one time and went to that brewery and the bike shop.
oh yeah, where Chappelle lives.
Yeah. No, that's Yellow Springs.
I'm pretty sure I saw Chappelle there.
Isn't Grove City where Travis is from? What's his screen name?
Mulk.
Malk. Yeah, Malk Hogan. Yeah, so then you got home, but you still had to ride to errands to get your.
Yeah, that sucked.
Good.
So it was another 33 miles, but I had all day to do it, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too worried.
Oh, is that what it is from Garrettsville?
Yeah, from my parents' house to my doorstep, or vice versa, is like 32, 33.
Does this route include the ride over to?
Yeah. So I did that. I was feeling pretty shitty by this point. Like both of my Achilles were like just throbbing. Knee was a little like on the mend, but for the amount of riding and
Yeah, once you're here though, it's all flat bike
Yeah.
trail. Yeah, through Kent, the stuff we ride.
so I definitely took my time. I stopped in Kent, Taco Tano's, and then just back home. I got home, like instantly took off all my bags, took off the rear rack, like chilled for a minute, but then Erin said she had to leave at 6,
Yeah.
and I had like asked her if I could come get my car because my car was parked there. So I didn't have a lot of time to chill, but
Probably for the better to get get over there and get
and
it
it
done.
it felt amazing to ride that bike without
Oh,
all
yeah.
the shit on it too. I thought I was gonna be just like really struggling to get over there, but I was surprised at the boost I got from having a little lighter setup.
I got that just like we did the last time we did this, but when we got into New York and like took all the bags off, and then the next morning just to be on like the bike and just be like flying around, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, overall it was actually really fun. I'm glad that I
You
did
did it
decide to do it.
all for the cookie.
yeah. I do somewhere on that drive, which we should not pull up, have a video of me singing along to
Huh. So you're saying you would do it again, but just
Yeah.
making sure it was all hotel.
If I did it that exact way again, yeah. Or I would do like the Empire Trail or something a little less climby
Yeah.
in that. But
Is this the goat farm?
yeah,
Get out of here.
so I think I had a few photos from there. That one, like, so over here it's like a bunch of goats. There was like one or two goats like sectioned off, and then right behind where I was standing was that Great Dane, and then there were a couple of, what were the dogs that they had at the Cold Spring Farm? Remember, like the big,
Oh yeah, there's some kind of herding dogs. I'm
Yeah.
not a dog person, but
the same type of dog that they had there. Yeah, there's a bunch of photos of this.
these goats are like, I'm gonna be eating you.
See, these are not in order. This was in that Wilcox on like day.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how this computer works. Yeah, because that
That
doesn't make
would've
any
been-
sense. Yeah.
yeah, overall really cool. There were a couple of,
Is this where you're singing?
I don't think that
Oh.
is.
Why does it not open the thing I clicked on? Why won't this close? What the fuck? God, this computer sucks.
Leave them
What's up, Mr. Daddy?
alone. There's some really horrible videos.
Pyrenees mountain dogs?
Yeah, that sounds
Oh, yeah.
right.
What is Otis asking here? Oh, is he asking about Dave? Yeah. Dave's hand.
Oh.
Looks like he moved out of frame a little bit. Edmund's, man, been here the entire time.
Chilling. Pause out.
Which is horrible because it means he's going to go bonks when I'm trying to go to bed.
A lot of. Hey, you mind if I
Oh, yeah. Take this. Yeah.
pull up some of a lot of these are just.
Yeah, grab whatever. I'm going to take a leak. If I could walk because my back is bad and then I've been sitting away to hold Edmund.
It's not gonna work.
Double click it. It should open. Oh, I think it's behind. Just, yeah. If you could scroll
I went
through
by
them.
this place called Anals. That was pretty cool.
Is that a highlight?
Yeah.
Did you have Ted King rate that barn?
Whoa. No, there were a lot of. Edmund is rocking on this still. A lot of scenes like this. Just big old barns. Let's see some highlights here. This is during Nutmeg.
Oh, you're not on the screen.
Oh shoot.
Go down to scenes.
Internet?
I believe it's web.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. This was during Nutmeg. Tim and Keith and Brad and Mikey, Ames, Aaron. Tim probably a few beers in this point.
What's that?
This photo from Nutmeg saying you were probably a few beers in at this point.
Oh yeah, you bought a 4-pack for the road.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was like, man, the end of Nutmeg got hazy quick. Then I'm like, oh yeah, we were drinking beers the whole second half of the ride.
Yeah. Yeah, all of these are. Huh. This was a weird. When I had stopped to get a little video of this.
Hot chicks coming?
But
At the Guthrie?
do you hear the audio on it? There's like
Yeah.
above me there was these kids like, and I don't know, they were just randomly like somewhere hovering above me that were screaming about the Buffalo Bills game.
Oh.
Let's go Buffalo.
Yeah, Nathan asked if Nutmeg has a fee. Yeah, like if you're not camping or anything, it's cheap to ride, but there's free pizza, there's free camping. You get a cap, you get a bandana,
Or
curated
you
routes. It's worth it.
don't.
Oh, some donks?
Yeah.
Too bad Erin's not here. She was looking out for donks the whole time.
I was tagging her in all the
Oh, were you
dunk
on the
photos.
You come back, Edmund. He's gonna go bonks though. Mr. Natty, so they're trying to figure out what to do because they did not come in time. So they're talking about sending them to local bike shops. So like for everyone in New York to pick a shop like 2Cs, send them there, and then you go there to grab them. They have not updated yet, but Erin talked to, I don't know if she talked to Ronnie or Tenzin. Yeah, I think she talked to Tenzin, but yeah. So, did they say Musette or did they say Bandana this year? For some reason, I kept thinking I was hearing them say Musette, but the Musette from the first year was awesome with the little. I think I have it right here.
Is it like a cartoon on it?
Cartoon of Ronnie and Tenzin.
Oh yeah, like Dr. Seuss style.
Oh yeah, that'll show.
Kinda Seussy.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I know it's funny because I'm like, even if they just did their like mail order thing, and I would still pay $5 just to have them ship it to us. Like if they just use their e-commerce, but then they also have to pack up 500, you know.
But they had, I don't know.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah.
Plus, if everyone pays $5, no matter what, as a flat fee, you should still make some, hopefully, enough money to make it worth your time. You know, that who knows, but. Do you know Sean?
Sean Evans.
He said, Ben, what inspires your street art graffiti pics?
I don't know, actually. Just being around Akron. Yeah, just seeing a lot of that type of stuff around.
I think one of the things we've always talked about is like it's us on our bikes, the homeless, and the graffiti artists all travel the same paths. Like nobody else uses those. It's like guys going out to do graffiti, guys and girls going out to do graffiti, us riding our bikes, and then the homeless getting from their camps to the places they need to get to, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Or just like abandoned old Akron tire factories or whatever. It is it's just a weird kind of scene that I
yeah.
think is cool.
And Ben's actually gotten to know some of the people out doing it. You've gone on a couple walks with them and stuff.
Yeah, a
So,
little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, just that whole vibe I just find interesting. Not even necessarily the graffiti part, but just like the decay of
Yeah.
these places that used to be super bustling.
It's also weird. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so weird because like our rail trails make sense, but like so much of what we ride is something that could be a future rail trail, but they don't. A lot of them just don't go anywhere because they were spurs to those factories.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been weird because lately they've just been tearing so many of them down. It's like once people get into them and start stripping them, then I don't know. It's kind of a bummer, but it's some of them are totally not worth it. There's a few where you're like, if the city turns the corner, these buildings could be valuable, and now they're just nothing. But
Yeah, like that one on the Ohio to Erie trail that's a brewery now.
yeah,
The first year we went by, it was
yeah.
kind of
Um,
crumbling almost.
Pudgy, what is that? Right outside of Loveland, Cartridge Brewing. Yeah, we went by and it was just a hollowed out building, nothing there. Took pictures, had cool terracotta. Then the next year we see they're rehabbing it, and then it's open. It's a brewery, and now it looks like other businesses are going in there. Yeah. Now these aren't your birthday beers, Otis. I bought these at the gas station. I like the Mango Raja. You don't like the Mango Raja? Well, he's not a huge IPA guy, anyways. Is Akron still on the down or on the mend? Some of your videos, I'm like, damn, that's sketchy. So, a lot of my videos, you're looking at what we're talking about. We're going to the sketchy places on purpose. I mean, not because they're sketchy, just because that's where we find the off-road cuts, and that's where nobody cares about, and that's why you see all that trash, and especially in the winter. You don't notice as much in the summer when the weeds grow up. But when I look at one of my winter videos, I don't think about like the amount of just trash around and stuff. I do feel like Akron as a whole and like downtown is on the up and up. It's been slow, way slower than other Rust Belt cities that have had a comeback. But yeah, I just think it's we're going to the kind of places that make it look even worse. But when we started making these videos during like the early days of the pandemic in 2020, so not a lot of people were around. It was also winter, and then we're hitting those cuts. Even when I barely had any subscribers, and there'd be like 3 comments there all like, "Do you live in a post-apocalyptic wasteland?" And it's like there's a lot of factors playing into that. It's where we're riding, it's the pandemic, it's winter, and then it's where we're going. So
Sean Evans is the I think the Joy Machines guy who was at the that photo show of your buddy.
oh yes, Sean, who we talked to, the guy who runs the dark room. So
Yeah. I think it was Otis's birthday yesterday too.
oh, Otis, happy birthday! Sorry I missed you. My back is all bad. So so what was Pudgy saying Carter was?
Vinyl record pressing plant.
It was a vinyl record plus. I feel like the mango's subtle enough that it just blends with the hops, but yeah, whatever.
Original.
Used
originally
Bikes
a
was asking
bullet factory.
about your wheels and hubs hanging up. I think you're all right, even with the. Well, you had just fixed up those wheels, right? Are those the ones you had busted?
Yeah, my front wheel was brand new, so it had maybe 50 miles on it before I left for this trip, so that was fine. Although I did feel it bottom out several times.
Oh, really?
The tire and the rim like hitting rocks at Nutmeg.
I hate that.
Like, oh shit. Brand new wheel.
Should I screen cap this? Did Edmund just meow at you, Dave? Originally a bullet factory, then a vinyl factory, huh? Oh yeah, we got that big tire bash tomorrow. You going to that?
I didn't know it was happening.
You haven't been paying attention yet.
I mean, I did notice that it was after we're closed, so I will get to go.
So you'll take off.
Yeah.
After you're closed, so you won't be there.
No, most of these other events that he does are
Yeah, during
when I'm working. Don't get to.
Yeah, the cross race, I haven't decided yet, Sean. A lot is going to depend on how if my back heals up. I tweaked it, and I'm really uncomfortable, so a long car ride would not happen for me. You're off at 4. Do you know what time that cross race is? The end of the lights one?
I don't know. That was another thing that I.
Everything we had going on with vacation and now getting caught up, I just haven't, I've seen all the Instagram posts, but I haven't, Yeah.
I'm actually on that team that's putting it on.
Oh, it's Grit's putting that
Yeah.
race on? So
I
Ames will be
believe
there?
so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, heavy locks, for sure. Yeah. If it... I think, though, Akron will always be a place, even if we... the downtown finally takes off, which it has been, and some of the certain neighborhoods take off, some of those spots we go are still going to be... They're like brownfields and stuff. They're not going to change that much, but...
Large Marge was a Pee Wee reference.
Mr. Natty, IPA gives you thrush. I think I told you I got to have a beer with Mr. Natty in New York. Yeah,
cool.
rode over to his neighborhood after me and Dylan had been riding all day. So he had a couple ciders. I think I had a couple really good IPAs. But yeah.
Had a lot of fun during his DJ set at Nutmeg.
Oh yeah, we were tearing it up.
Had forgotten about until I saw your photo how it was trying to zip one of those orbs up
Oh yeah, in your
into
hat.
my hood.
Yeah,
I also forgot that when Keith had said that he had a sack of orbs in his van, I got really excited and went to tell Mikey. It's like, this fucking guy said he had a bag of orbs. But when I went to slap him, he had a drink, I think a cup of wine in his hand, and I just smacked this wine out of his hand. I felt so bad.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Natty. I actually just finished cutting the New York video today. It's going to have a 30 to a minute voiceover in the beginning, but then it's just all my old band's music. I just want it to be all New York footage so I could watch it. I don't want to talk over the whole thing. So it's just starts off with me and Dylan, then there's just a section where I'll talk, and then it's just going to be bombing through the streets. And I took some time on the color and made it look kind of gritty and stuff like that because it's New York. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah,
Mr. Natty in the edit?
He's not, because we talked and I never pulled out a camera, yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things where it's man, I wish I captured this moment. But at the same time, I'm I was having such a good time that I didn't think of my cameras, which is also a good thing. I said that in the Nutmeg video too, how many interactions we had, hanging out and talking to people. I don't the video doesn't show that vibe because that's what we were doing. We were just, so I'm
yeah.
It's a little bit I wish I captured a little of it, but at the same time, it's I was having so much fun. I wasn't messing with my cameras, and that's a good thing. So. Thanks, Bradley. Yeah, I saw your comment too, and I've basically today I answered all the comments that were just real quick, but you and a couple other people wrote some interesting detailed things that I wanted to take my time with because it had to get set up for the stream and everything. So, racing is at 5 for the under the lights. I do have those.
Is that on Saturday or Sunday?
I thought it was Saturday night because it's dark.
it?
Yeah, I just assumed that. But that's get that some of the I do have some good nutmeg dancing pictures. I also have that great video of Mr. Natty tearing it up with those glasses with the like LED lights.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm glad I captured some of that. I think the year before I just a tiny snippet. Oh yeah, I love this too. We were trying to stack all of Keith's orbs up. And then it was Tenzin came over and kicked them all over. I have a photo. I didn't post it because it's just not a strong photo, but she's walking away like just laughing her ass off after she kicked them all over. So.
It was cool that Mikey donated one of those
Oh, there she
swords
is.
too. That was
Yeah. Well, it was funny. Someone wrote, which it was one of the Joy Machines guys. It might have been. It wasn't rigged. It might have been Fuzzy. He was like, Woody had swords as the awards first, and I'm like, same guy made him.
Yeah.
That's our buddy.
Yeah. I think out west they had the swords first.
Yeah.
How did
That's a great shot too.
Yeah.
Good night, Nathan. Have a good night. Yeah, you have it in your hood there. Like there's an orb in the hood. I can't remember what's going on at this moment. Yeah, but Ben rides up and he's got a bag and I could see like the lights in it. You're like, I got orbs. And I'm like, what? And Keith's standing there just with the most satisfied look on his face. And Keith is a guy
and he had a jug of margarita.
Oh, that's right.
So I had the rest of my tequila.
Yeah.
And he had a bottle of tequila. And I had, just some like Topo Chico lime ones. And we made this horrible concoction.
One of the best thing about that, we see him once a year. And every time we run into him, it's just like, what's up, man? And I remember the first year was at Little House, and we were just like hanging out at that brewery talking. And even when I saw him, I'm like, I'll never remember what we were talking about that day when we were sitting at the brewery. I just remember we were so funny, and we were all laughing our asses off. But this year, yeah, we rode almost the whole second half of more than that with him, I think. So
Yeah. I think he did
Oh, there's
the whole
Mr.
thing
Natty.
with Brad too.
Yeah, he rolled up with Brad. I was actually, I was taking a shit in the woods when I came out. Brad and Keith were rolling by. Yeah. This way, he was staying at the lean-to next to us, and him and his friends were really cool. Got to hang out with them, and then we ended up riding kind of alongside of them for a little bit as well. Miggy. Mr. Daddy told me that when we were hanging out in New York that he gave, remember those lightsaber things people had?
Uh-huh.
Light sticks? That he gave Miggy some mushrooms, and Miggy said he felt like Darth Vader. Oh yeah, those glasses.
Yeah. I think you have one of them in the crowd too. That's like one of my favorite.
I don't know if I haven't posted on
He's
the...
like creeping through the dance party.
I must have only posted that one on Instagram. I have a ton from this night, and I was like, should I post more? And then half of me was like, I should post these to like my cloud storage stuff, and then just share them to everyone I know, so if people want to download them, use them for other things. But did Peter bring all those lights and stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Yeah, that was just I said it in the video I made. I was like, no shade on the rest of the parties that they had at Nutmeg, but this one was just by far the most fun. Like, even those bands sounded really good. It was really loud and it was early in the evening and I was like catching up with people and chatting outside. So I was like catching bits of what they sounded like and peeking in, but it was just wasn't in the
Yeah.
mood to be in. Ron even said, I think in his blog, it was a little loud, but it would have been better if maybe they were played later or I don't know. Or maybe we're set. It was probably too chilly to play outside, but it was just a little noisy for. That's how any of these go. I remember the year that like Joe Cruz was speaking. I had just met a couple of people and we were chatting, but then I'm like, I could hear like I'm like I really wanted to hear that. I had to like tear myself away from the conversations to watch the speech. And it's like always, I don't know. It's always how these kind of things go, right?
I did love that Peter played. I don't know if it was just George Michael or Wham, but that George Michael song.
Which one did
That
you
kind
play?
of. I don't even remember what song it was, but we were all just blaring along to it.
Oh yes, yeah. It was yeah. I remember you guys like kind of came my way, and then it was just yeah. That was great. Yeah. I do feel bad.
Somebody tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, won't
Yeah.
you tell me?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I felt so bad because in the video I said he's from Ann Arbor. He's from Detroit. But the last time I hung out with him before Nutmeg, we were in Ann Arbor, and that's probably where it came from. But I uploaded it, then I watched it back to make sure the upload was verified, and it was then that I noticed. I'm like, I said Ann Arbor, and I'm like, it's already uploaded. Like it was like a half an hour before my schedule to make them, go live. I'm like, I DM'd him. I'm like, by the way, just so you know, I said you're from Ann Arbor. I'm sorry. I was like, I fixed it in the description. And I was like, but no one reads the description. So.
Pack of coyotes stole his packet of sausage roll
I'm willing to bet that.
at Nutmeg.
I would guess that some other guys probably ate all their sausage rolls. Then were like, it was coyotes.
Yeah.
Raccoons got you. So.
Dave's
See you later, Otis.
See you tomorrow. My biggest tire is.
What happens at the fat bike party? Is there a ride? No, he has
There is a ride at the end of it. I did see that.
I deleted Facebook, so I don't.
Yeah, there's
We probably should have. Oh, I forgot there is an abort command now. Anyways, to promote that, if you're in the Akron area, is it at 6?
starts at 6. I believe it goes to 9. There is supposed to be a bike ride at the end. I don't know where it's going.
But I think he's having like there's fat bikes you could try and ride, right? Like
Yeah,
floor model, whatever.
and possibly some food, possibly a potluck. I don't know. I haven't seen Otis for like 10 days.
Have you been to work yet?
I was there today, but Thursday he's off.
Oh, that's right.
And I asked Yonda about it. He had no idea either.
But it sounds fun.
Yeah. I'll probably do the ride.
Yeah, we might be there.
I'll eat some of the food if there's food. And I'll probably drink some beer.
Friday at 6, Dirty River, downtown Akron. Should we end it with that?
Keep an eye out for those truckers.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll suck you in.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this time I
Fitzwater photo.